Okay, problem D looks a little bit different, but we're going to treat it the exact same way and see how we can get the same base on both sides. So start with whichever one is easier. I think that which one's easier is the 8. The 8, the only way to rewrite 8 as an exponent is to rewrite it as a 2 to the third power. So I'll replace the 8 with 2 to the third. Again, don't forget your parentheses. But also don't forget that it has an exponent of x plus 1. I have to keep that. I can't lose it. Okay, now the hope is that I can figure out a way to write the other side, the 1/2, as a base of 2 as well. Well, let's think. What will turn a 2 into a 1/2 like what I have here? Well, that would be a 2 to the negative first power. Remember, negative exponents flip a number to make a fraction. So yes, a 2 to the negative first power is the same thing as a 1/2. So I can make that substitution, use parentheses, and make the swap. Don't forget, though, that it had an exponent on the outside. You can't lose it. It's still there. Now at least the bases are the same. They're both a base of 2 here. So I can drop the bases, but I have to do the math with the exponents. Well, what does that mean, I have to do the math with the exponents? Well, I have a -1. The parentheses mean multiplied by the 3x minus 6 on the outside there, which means I have to distribute that -1 out, which will give me a -3x plus 6 on the left-hand side when I distribute. And on the right-hand side, I have a 3 multiplied by an x plus 1, which again has to distribute that 3, which will get you a 3x plus 3 on the right-hand side. Again, solving this like a normal equation, you can get the x's on the same side. It doesn't matter which one you move. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, but you could add a 3x to both sides. What this does is we'll get you a -6x plus 6 equals 3. Continuing right along, we can keep solving for x by subtracting 6 from both sides, and that gets us a -6x equals -3. Then dividing both sides by a -6 will get us that x equals, well, notice we have a negative divided by negative, which is actually a positive. Also, 3 divided by 6 is a fraction that can be reduced. So technically we have 3 over 6 right now, but that can be reduced to 1/2 by dividing both of those by 3. So we get our final answer of x equals 1/2. Let's look at the last one here. We've got problem E. E to the 3 minus x equals e to the third, with parentheses, to the -x. What is awesome about this one is it looks harder, but it's actually not, because the bases are already the same. So you can just go ahead and drop the bases. You have the first exponent already ready to go. It's 3 minus x, so you can leave that as is. The left-hand side is just 3 minus x. It's what to do with the right-hand side. Well, those parentheses should tell you that you're multiplying those two. So 3 times -x is actually -3x. Then all you have to do is solve this like a normal equation. Get the x's on the same side of the equation. Well, the quickest, easiest way to do that is by adding x to both sides of the equation. That will get rid of the x's on the left-hand side and move them to the right. So that gets me 3 equals now -2x. Continuing to solve this thing, we will divide both sides by a -2. And that gets me that x equals -3 halves. That's a reduced fraction, so you can leave it just like that.